And welcome to Tales from the Tips. I'm DA alongside 15-year Tour Caddy Mick Middlemo. We're just a couple guys that love to talk about the game of golf, both inside and outside the ropes, but we come at it from a different perspective. Mick?
Sir.
This is a special edition of Tales from the Tips.
It is
we are post-round.
Yes, post-rounding. We had a little hiccup last week, so we had to delay a few things, and here we are talking about, I think the PGA Tour needs to do something about their timing. It's really rude for me to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch golf.
It is.
It's rude.
So the PGA has to adjust to Melbourne Standard Time. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. Getting out of bed at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to watch golf. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah, as you mentioned, we did have a few. We had life happened this past week.
Yeah, it sure did. A lot happened.
A lot happened. We'll update. Let's do this. Let's start with that. Let's update the listeners of why we didn't do our preview show, and then we will tell you who we actually had picked, and then our thoughts of what transpired. How's that?
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
So let's do that. Let's grip it and rip it. Okay. Literally. So I guess let's start here. We were scheduled Tuesday to record.
Yep.
And you and Dad, you had a busy day already on Tuesday with Dad because he had some stuff that he had to do at the hospital.
Which is Wednesday my time, by the way.
Which is Wednesday morning. We are on a 14-hour time difference for those that are keeping track. And so you and Dad got all the medical stuff covered.
Yes, we did.
And then we're on your way home that evening.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad took a little tumble.
He did have a little tumble in a parking lot. Had a very rough tumble. Split his head rather badly. Got a bunch of stitches in there, but prior to that, we were sitting in the living room, waiting for an ambulance to come because we needed to ship him off to hospital. And after about an hour and a half of waiting for ambulances and stuff like that, not the greatest country in the world to get an ambulance, by the way. Not that I am. It's horrific. He started to complain that his elbow was sore, so I took his jumper or his sweater off, and his elbow was rather swollen like a beach ball. And as it turns out, he took the whole tip off his elbow, so he's had to have surgery. He's still in hospital. Had to have elbow surgery. Had to have a plate, 2 pins put in his elbow. He's also got a broken finger. He got some stitches in the head, and he's not travelling that well right now. It's very hard for an 88-year-old man to get around with his arm in a sling. So he's probably going to be out of commission and probably rehab facility probably for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, you texted me just before we were going to go jump on and said, Houston, we have a problem. Dad took a tumble, and then sent me a pretty gruesome photo. I then shared that with Lynn because she was inquiring why I was still downstairs. And I said, well, I don't think we're recording tonight. And she goes, well, when are you going to record? Because while you have that going on, my middle daughter graduated high school this week. So we had inbound family starting Wednesday all the way through last night. As a matter of fact, they left all this morning. So we had high school graduation Thursday evening, and then on Saturday was her graduation party. And you were dealing with all the stuff with Dad. So life happened.
Life happened. Yes, life happened. We got to the hospital at 8:30 on Wednesday night, and I sat up with Dad the whole night, and we got to see a doctor at 12 noon on Thursday.
There are so many things that we could say, but we will just leave it there. I'm glad. Let's do it. Let's say this. I am glad that Dad is doing better and he's in recovery, and that the fine medical staff that finally got to Dad
Yes.
were able to take good care of him and get him on the mend.
That's the first time I've pulled an all-nighter staying awake since Vegas.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a great question. When was the last time, Mick? But you just answered that. Vegas, when you were out there with the tour.
Yeah, we pulled an all-nighter there one night. There was no bed. We did a close to a 40-hour session there one time. Just no sleeping.
I think the scenery there would have been a lot better than what you were dealing with this
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
So
Hospitals
with
at
that,
midnight. Interesting.
congratulations to Chris Wrighton, who won his first PGA Tour victory last week at the Truist Championship. Congratulations to Brent Snedeker, whose first win in over a decade took place there at the One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic, the opposite field event down in Myrtle Beach. Congratulations to your guy, your buddy, Boo Weekley, who wins on the Champions Tour. And since World Number One took off, Number Two won. Congratulations to Gina Titakun, who won up in New Jersey. So, Mick?
One more, though. Greg Owen won on the Champions Tour, on the European Tour.
That is correct. Greg did win. He's on a roll right now. He's played some really good golf. We've got to get it connected back with him because speaking of someone playing good golf, we really haven't had a chance to talk about it. Our buddy Stuart Sink now
made the cut at the tournament. Just gone.
Yeah, I don't know if he's heading to Morocco for the Champions Tour event. I have not texted with him. I know rough week here at Aronomik. But other than that, let's get into our preview / post of the PGA Championship. Aronomik Golf Club in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, a.k.a. Pennsylvania. Mick?
Yes.
I know you've been out there.
Yes, I have so.
Give me your thoughts on Aronomik Golf Club.
Well, apparently it's changed a little bit since I was there last. I don't know whether that's for the better or not. It's a boring golf course.
Golf course.
It's a boring, long golf course with crappy greens. I'm not a big fan of that place. I've got to tell you. And I just sugarcoated that then too, by the way.
You really did. I think our audience deserves a little bit more than a little sugarcoat. Yes, it was recently redesigned by Gil Hance. A lot was made going into the tournament about how many trees were removed off the property and that it was going to be a bomber's paradise. Last time I checked, Aaron Rai is not a bomber.
Yeah, he still moves it okay, though. They can all move it okay. I mean, I did watch Rory drive a 397-yard par 4 yesterday.
That is true. He had a couple of big bombs again today, and then he lost some accuracy and found himself in some trouble. I think the golf course played very well for the conditions. The gentlemen they experienced about 3 different seasons this week. Out there, cold, blustery, and gray on Thursday. I would call it more fall temperatures, low 60s, mid 60s on Friday with some sun peeking through, but still the winds were there. Saturday was a beautiful day out there, and the scores reflected it. And then today, obviously, low 80s, and the winds were up, but really, there wasn't a lot of movement until the back 9 when Aaron Rai decided to just go off to 65.
One player went off and shot on the back 9. It was, if you liked watching pars, it was a good golf course. It was a good tournament to watch.
Yeah, I mean, so
I think Friday. I think when they were interviewing some of the players on Friday, the players were being a little more they're being diplomatic, like I am right now. Right. So you can read between the lines. They were being diplomatic about the pin placements, which were some of them were just horrific. But
Well, Scotty made himself very clear on Friday after the round.
And you got pin positions that weren't fantastic and stuff like that. So I don't think the course. I think the PGA did a very poor job of setting up the golf course.
How dare you? How dare you criticize Kerry Haig?
Well, I just did.
Right.
But I didn't mention his name. You did. I didn't. Kerry, I didn't mention your name.
Everybody, hey, listen, if you're going to get all the credit for a good golf course setup, then you're going to get the criticism too.
Yes, and there should be criticism because it wasn't a very good setup. And if you're trying to turn it into a US Open type format, well, they probably did that, and I don't think that was what people want to see. I don't believe so. So on the good news, though, one of the PGA professionals, club pros, one made the cut this year, which is one more than last year.
There you go. Do you want to name him?
Nah.
No, are you done with him too?
Nah, it's just the same. It's just, and then I have to get on Facebook and look at all the things, and I have to see Michael Block's head there 10 times because he played well in a PGA Championship 5 years ago, and we still have to talk about it. Blah blah blah. Nah.
I know you love that there are 20 guys that can qualify for this.
And you know what? And all the power to them. And but this goes to show you how hard golf is. And if people don't realise how hard this game is, then you have 40 players. And obviously some were the same from last year. But okay, out of the 40 that did it, only one made the cut in the last 2 years. These guys are all plus handicap golfers. Every one of them. Every one of them is a plus handicap golf. They've earned their way into it, and none of them can make the cut. So don't sit back and say these guys are great golf. They are good. They're very good golfers. But it just goes to show you how hard golf is and how hard it is to play on the PGA Tour.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktails, shots, and more.
I was going to say, you nailed it with the last part of that statement. How hard it is and how good these guys are on the PGA Tour. And I think, congratulations to John Rahm. I believe he will finish runner-up. I haven't seen the final standings. Aaron was basically getting congratulated.
Tied second, 6 under.
Tied second, okay. Yeah, I hadn't seen it. Okay.
Cameron Smith fired the coach he's had since he was 9, and he finished T7th.
Yeah, well, a couple of the live guys had a good week. David Puig had a good week this week. It was good to see Padraig Harrington finish.
Made the cut.
Yeah, finished -1. Finished eagle par birdie.
Little tight 18th action there, so that's good work there.
Nice to see Justin Thomas with a really good. Early in the clubhouse.
I'm surprised it took you this long to mention your little boy there, your little man crush.
Listen, he has not been playing great. That back injury is definitely. It was good to see Justin play well. It was good to see.
I wore this just for you today because of the Justin Thomas thing. So this was
for you. I got the best Titleist hat that there is.
Yes, actually, I had a wonderful conversation with Jared's wife this week. Wonderful conversation. Anyway,
good to see Ludwig Oberg finally finish a tournament well. Now he shot. What did he end up shooting? 69 today. For 5 under. But it really Aaron Rai just played some phenomenal golf on the back nine today.
Let's mention Patrick Reed finishing top 10.
Well, and you were. I was a little surprised last night when you said that you were pulling for Patrick Reed. I was confused. The words that I didn't think you would have come out of your mouth.
It's called gambling.
It is called gambling. Now, let's get into our picks. You, sir, and I always scratch my head because you get mad at me that I bring this up. In December, you picked Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler.
Who finished T14.
T14.
And then, out of nowhere, on Thursday morning, I got Sepp Straka.
Yeah, for the Quinella. Again, gambling.
Oh, is that what it was? I was confused. I was driving into the office, and all of a sudden, I'm explaining this to the listening audience. Mick is a man of very few words. So let's just be very clear about that.
There's a lot of people who are not going to agree with that.
In text messages, you do not use, right. And so, in the context of what we were talking about, we had not gotten to, hey, let's have a secondary pick. We never even had that conversation. No. And all of a sudden, Sepp Straka. And so I just fired back Jason Day. I thought Jason had been playing good. Now, I think Jason finished, hold on, let me scroll.
T65.
65th, all right.
Another top 70 in a major.
Right. My pick in December was Victor Hovland. When we were going to do our show on Tuesday, I was going to be begging you to get another pick because I have not felt very good about how Victor has been playing. And clearly he didn't play well. He missed the cut. He shot the same as our guy, Stuart Singh, +6. Rory, of course, had a good Saturday, and then,
He had a very short press conference on Thursday about how well he played.
He didn't play very well on Thursday.
That's not what he said. That's not the word he used.
What did he say?
I'm not allowed to swear.
Well, don't swear.
Well, he started with SH and, yeah.
It was
How did you play today? And he went, one word. That was it. So, and then they asked him on Friday, how did you play? And he went, not as yesterday.
Right. And then Saturday he played out of his mind.
Yeah.
Shooting 66. I think low round of the day was Chris Gotterup on Saturday. And then today, Kurt Kitayama. There's a name for you.
Ripped off a quick 63.
Yeah, it goes out and rips a 63. I believe that ties a course record, if I remember.
Shot 30 on the front.
Just a smooth 30. Nothing to look at.
Justin Rose finished top 10 with his new McLaren clubs. Say that 10 times in a row.
Justin had a good Saturday, shooting 65. I thought he was going to make a run today. There was something.
It's not 1 under today.
Yeah, but I felt like he had it, but fell a little short. Max Grazerman was peaking. It was funny though, looking at the leaderboard. We had 7 tied after round 1.
Yes, it was a very bunched leaderboard.
When you look at the guys in the top 5, not a single one of them was in the top.
I would like to know what odds the winner was at the start of this tournament. I didn't look, but he wasn't exactly. He did have a top 10 last week at the Myrtle Beach Classic. He finished 5th, and so I guess he came in with a little bit of form. But let's go back to his form before you were coming into this tournament. Let's go Sony 50th, 73rd, 28th, 23rd, 84th, 85th, 48th. That's not exactly setting the world on fire till you have a 5th at the secondary tournament, and then you come out and win a major.
I was going to say, you go, and here's the best, is you go even par, 1 under, 2 under, or 3 under, and then you go nuts and shoot 65.
Yeah. You didn't see that one coming.
Definitely didn't see the English.
He would have been down there with the long odds, like with Martin Kamer, who, by the way, started off the tournament very well. But,
speaking of another guy that just completely fell off the face of the earth when he went over to live, had a nice first round and then disappeared like he did once he went to live. I'm glad Cam Smith has decided to get off the fishing boat. He played well. That was good to see.
But yes, anyway, so we've wrapped that up. Not my favourite golf course. That was
when was it?
That's when I ran into Tiger at the Holiday Inn Express.
This is the one. This was, what was this? The AT&T that was out there?
I do believe it was the AT&T that was hosted by Tiger Woods and Nick Watney.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't have the yardage book. I went looking to see if I had the yardage book here, but it must be with my yardage books in the USA. Because I definitely know I have one for that tournament, that golf course.
Would you?
Maybe two.
So we've got, we've got the. We had to. We go back to Texas for the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson next week, where Scotty's in the field. Mick, let's put a bow on the PGA Championship.
Congratulations to the winner. Very surprising, but it's nice to see a little bit of an unknown come up there. Put his name out there. Good to see.
I hope.
Can't have the same people winning every week.
What's that?
We can't have the same people winning every week. I like it. It's nice to see.
It was good to see. Now we turn to the CJ Cup, and then the Charles Schwab, and then Mick. In 3 weeks, we're at the Memorial. Your favorite?
Love it. No, I do. I like the golf course. Love the golf course.
Any other takeaways, or are you ready?
There's going to be a bunch of people on the range this week wearing 2 gloves to see if it works.
Is there going to be a run on 2 gloves?
Yeah, well, he's not the first. Tommy Two Gloves used to have. He was out there all the time with his 2 gloves on. And he uses iron covers too. Remember?
Stop it.
He does.
Stop it.
He does. He has iron covers on his irons.
Aaron Rai does not have iron covers on his irons.
You sure?
No, I wouldn't bet you on it. But what would that be like to be his caddy?
Annoying.
Would you charge him more?
I'm just having a little check of it now. Yeah, he uses iron covers.
He uses iron covers.
There you go.
Yeah.
Move on.
Leave it up to the English.
Yeah.
Okay. We will. We're gonna have an episode. We'll actually get into the Byron, the Byron Nelson this upcoming week.
It's changed. It used to be a good tour. Yeah, they're at Craig Ranch now in McKinney, which I have played that golf course. Have caddied there, not in a PGA Tour event. I caddied there at the Corn Ferry Championship at the end of the year for Bradley Hughes.
Yeah,
good golf course.
It's always played well. I mean, Scotty obviously won there last year. He's going to play in this event. Another Jordan Spieth. Spieth had a nice tournament. Never was in contention, but
I used to like the other place where they had the Byron Nelson there in Dallas. It was nice.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. I can't remember which.
I can't remember that. It was the TPC at Las Colinas, I believe. Well, yeah, I know that might be San Antonio. But it was a TPC course. But good golf course. Very, very good. Used to be a great field too, but that's kind of whittling away as well now.
Before we get out of here, because I know we're going to make this an abbreviated edition, I wanted your thoughts on Boo Weekley winning. I know you were excited. That's a good friend of yours.
I love Boo. Great man. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. The best ball striker I've ever seen on the PGA Tour.
You have some pretty funny stories about you and Boo.
Yeah, we've had drinks together on many occasions. We used to stay at the Knights Inn there at Tampa for the tournament down there, which was the worst hotel in the world. But you would only ever see one courtesy car in the parking lot in that place, and that was Boo Weekley's. And he used to sit out the front in his chair and drink his cans of Busch Light. And then, we finally decided that this was probably the last year we were ever going to stay at the worst hotel ever, because it really got worse and worse as it went along. Actually, he took me into his room to show me his bathtub and had the biggest hole in the middle of it. Yeah, it was good stuff.
That was it.
And if you ever Want to Google Boo Weekley getting knocked out by an orangutan? True story.
Boo Weekley knocked out by orangutan.
True story. They were at some bar sometime, and it was obviously he's from the Panhandle. Things going on. You could get in there and have a little wrestle or a little fight with an orangutan. I'm going back 30 years, and Boo lost.
I did not even see this coming. I knew you had some stories. I didn't know that orangutans were involved.
Yeah, well, every now and again I'll come up with something.
Anything else that you want to share before we get on out of here today?
Okay, so this is, I'm just looking at it. I just Googled it right there. Boo Weekley was 16 years old. He attended a county fair where a challenge. Anyone who could land a punch on an orangutan for $50. $5 entry fee to get in there. You had to you had to sign a waiver with headgear and stuff like that, and Boo lost. True story. You can Google it. It is a 100% true story.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. What you don't know, what we will say on this podcast.
I know when Boo and I used to get drunk together, it was a very hard conversation to have the Australian accent going full bore, and then he would change to his absolute Panhandle South accent, and it was very, very hard for people to understand anything that we were saying. It was a lot of fun.
An Aussie and a Southerner. Go figure.
Well, yeah, good man, Boo Weekley. Very happy for him.
Yeah, I knew you and I kind of were going back and forth, and we were hoping he was going to hold on, and it's good to see him get a win out there on the Champions Tour.
I'm sure he's the only player to ever win on the PGA Tour that's been knocked out by an orangutan.
I think that could be a good bar stat, yes.
See, the things that other people won't tell you on their podcast, we know here. Inside information.
I had a lot of people, family that was in for the graduation that are starting to listen, and they started laughing, and they're like, and they were asking, where's Mick? And I said, well, clearly you haven't gotten to a couple episodes because Mick is back in Australia, and they're like, we were hoping to meet him. My uncle Ed is a big fan of the podcast now. He goes, you quite show some personality on that thing. And I said, well, I mean, I gotta behave here, but on there,
suggesting you don't have a personality.
I guess not. I guess I'm very late. I guess I'm very reserved.
Maybe they just think you're a boring sales guy. I don't know. But there's another side to him. Sorry, Lynn. Does Lynn listen?
No, she doesn't listen
good.
to this.
Okay,
no.
Good. Perfect.
And my good friend Ben said to say hello.
Hello.
I had to pass those messages on.
Anybody who wants to drop a line, say hello. I'll personally get back to you. I've got plenty of time at the moment to do things.
And Small Child did say that you better be here in 2 years.
I'll be back for the graduation. Don't worry.
She said, Uncle Mick better be there. And I said,
I'll be back for the graduation.
You will be
back. I got to play golf with my good mate, Dr. Jerry. We were bouncing back and forth this week, texting.
There you go.
How to teaching me how to talk on the podcast.
I'm heading out. I get to play in the Kennesaw State University Dot Martin Classic tomorrow, Mick, out at Governor's Club.
Dump.
Well, it'll be good to be out, except, Mick, they turned up the temperature out there.
What's it going to be tomorrow?
92.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. I like playing golf in the heat. Yeah. I'm all over it. But I do not like playing golf at Governors. Sorry to all those people who spend millions of dollars to be a member at Governors. Don't like it.
It was
Bentwater's
89 today, and it felt like 100. So
it's been raining here for the last 2 days. It's a little chilly. It's probably 45 degrees at the moment.
Yeah. I don't miss that.
Hence the brown grass hoodie.
Yeah. We. By the way, did you see the schedule release?
For the Falcons?
Yeah.
Of course I did.
Of course you did. Do you want to put your 2 cents in on that?
We get to play the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers making another comeback at the age of 700. It's good.
Yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait to see Aaron Rodgers again.
Yeah, good. I hope he signs him for another 5 years. Dud. Great bloke.
Your buddy Aaron.
Yeah, my buddy Aaron. Great bloke. No. Yes, I did see it. It's going to be a tough year for the Falcons.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not a good schedule for a broadcaster on the radio side like me, and it's certainly not a good one for the Falcons unless they get some help and some guys aren't playing those weeks that they play. So
maybe we got Tua. Anyway.
In the fish we trust.
No, we don't. And
well,
the Braves
buddy,
are playing, and the Braves are playing beautifully, and the Cubs have faltered a little bit.
Yeah, and the Tigers have stubbed their toe as well. That's all right. It's a long season. We're only in May. We'll get there.
It is.
We'll see where it shakes out here in the next couple of months. I'm gonna get on out of here. I got some things I got to go clean up.
Oh.
So, next episode we will get into the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, and we'll kind of just start previewing starting to look ahead to the Memorial.
Yep. Isn't Colonial after?
Yeah, Colonial is right after that.
Yeah. Good. Now that's a good golf course right there.
Yep.
Talk about one of my favorites on tour. Beautiful.
You do love the Colonial.
Beautiful golf course. Love that place.
The
All right, we'll get out of here.
Club Challenge.
Yes.
Thanks for teeing up with us on Tales from the Tips. If you're catching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like, hit that subscribe button, drop us a comment, let us know what you think. We're having all sorts of fun issues today. You can find Tales from the Tips wherever you find your favorite podcast. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and now available on iHeart Podcast. Just search for Tales from the Tips under podcast. Hit the plus button, subscribe, and enjoy. Mick.
Yes, sir.
You can find us on all the socials, Instagram, X, and your favorite
TikTok.
TikTok.
Just got
the doorbell rang.
It was a beep from TikTok.
And of course, there you go. Mick is on TikTok now. Kim Joyner's helping him.
Fact.
And you can catch this, like the one person that's watching, and we know who it is, Chris Fortney right now. You can watch Twitch live. Just hit your notifications button for when we go live. It will tell you, and you can come on and watch this thing happen without any of the amazing editing that I make Slim or myself do. So, Mick,
not me. Yes,
I'm gonna try to keep those drives straight. I'm gonna try to roll in putts, and sir, I'm definitely gonna try to keep that score low because I know there's gonna be a bunch of pencil whippers tomorrow.
Yeah, good luck with the softest greens in the world too, by the way.
We'll see you next time on Tales from the Tips.
Bye, Governor.